Ant-Man, what are you doing in my house? Get out of here. Shouldn't you be fighting crime or something? What is up, YouTube? It's Kingfisher745, and welcome to the highly anticipated Ant Week here on my channel. It's similar to Shark Week in that, well, it's not very similar. But all this week we're going to have Ant-Man related videos in honor of the new Marvel theatrical release. So stay tuned, but don't get antsy. The best is yet to come. First, of course, we are using Ant-Man related teams in good old Marvel Avengers Alliance. This first team with Hank Pym and the new Ant-Man, I like to refer to them as Team Anthrax. And that's because they're lethal in small doses. And for our first opponent, we're facing a very antiquated Star-Lord and Quicksilver team. Quicksilver, of course, is up to his old antics. But following his turn, Hank Pym's going to be next. And since they do have a blaster, we're going to go ahead and use Growing Pains on him. That will exhaust him. And then with our second turn, we're going to use our AoE attack, Army of Ants. This applies Off Balance and Winded because of the Formican AISO. So that's a pretty great ability to use on this team in particular. Then as you saw, our Ant-Man was knocked out, but he comes back once per combat. And when that happens, you'll see Redemption. That's courtesy of his passive, A Shot at Redemption. Ant-Man returns to full health and grants Become the Hero when attacked and health is reduced to 0. It's also going to make him even better because it grants him Rising Up at the beginning of every turn. So believe it or not only do you not mind him being knocked out, you kind of want it to happen. That's pretty unique to this character. However, you definitely don't want to come up against Fatal Blow or Brutal Strike. But the extra cool thing about this team and both the Ant-Men is they do a ton of opportunist debuffs and take advantage of those debuffs. Ant-Man Scott Lang has Exploit Opportunity and Finest Hour on his level 6. And here you can see Hank Pym's often devastating level 9. In fact, let's take a look at it in action. Just like that, 2 out of 3 enemies are knocked out. And now Ant-Man can finish off Star-Lord. Since we've been talking about Exploit Opportunity, let's use his Pint-Size Surprise. And that easily drops the Guardian of the Galaxy. So that's going to be it for our first team, and we're going to be shifting teams around slightly. In this second battle, we're using Hank Pym and Wasp. And we're facing Pestilence Beast and Enchantress. You know, Enchantress and Pestilence have brought a plague upon PvP. They've seriously poisoned it. But you know what? I think we have the antidote right here. We began by using the Blackest Void as a quick action because of the Safeguard Tactician suit. Then after that, it's on to the Oblivione, mainly for opportunists, but it also applies pressure points debuffs. Then the enemy agent uses Signpost, and the Oblivione herself. That's so Raven. She's definitely trying to antagonize us, but we're going to remain calm. We stick to the game plan and use Army of Ants next. The main goal is to set up as many opportunist debuffs as we can, and then take advantage of it with Hank Pym's Bug Squashing, with Fist Bump from Wasp, and also with the No Mercy on my agent. There really are a lot of great opportunist debuffs, and Exploit Opportunity is no joke. As you can see, we get a pretty big hit on the Horseman of Pestilence, and once we take him down, we can then use the Light Fantastic to remove all of our debuffs. Right now, that is definitely our mission, so one more solid hit should do it. Following Enchantress's always annoying turns, there is a bit of a debate going. See, if we use the Light Fantastic, we'll at least get Mirror Reality, and that could help us out. Also, our only hope in knocking out beasts is by using the No Mercy, and we are in great danger of hitting our own teammates, should we choose to use that single target attack. Sometimes in life though, and PvP, you just have to go for it. And we do, and it pays off. With that hit, I think we may have knocked Beast all the way to the Antarctic. Maybe not all the way to the interior, but possibly the anterior. Okay, that was pretty bad. Just forget the last 20 seconds or so. It never happened. Now with Hank Pym and then with Wasp, we're going to use their AoE attacks. So we begin with the Army of Ants, and then we're going to go ahead and use Skirmish Scramble. Skirmish Scramble applies off balance. It also places staggered, and because of the bursting AISO, shield breaker. So we have this on her just in case we face Invisible Woman. That's a pretty great option to have because you never know when you'll need it. Oh, and by the way, it also gives her nimble, so 50% chance to avoid melee and ranged attacks. Then Hank Pym has his own special EISO, the diminutive Empowered ISO 8. This grants him size matters, 20% chance to shrink and avoid incoming attacks. So these two are definitely wily. As they should be, they shrink down to the size of insects after all. But I don't want to write an anthology on how hard they are to hit. I think you get the picture. By the way, by using the Skeptic and taking out Beast, we can take a lot of the sting out of Enchantress. However, leaving her for last isn't always the greatest thing because it can often turn into a long, boring, drawn-out fight. In other words, anticlimactic. But we'll try to finish her off as soon as we can, and it begins by using Exhausted. So take that, Enchantress. I wish this completely shut her down, but she still will get a few actions. Then next up, we're going to hit her with a Fist Bump, and this does a lot of damage. I will give it to her though, her thorns are actually hurting a lot as well, and it's causing hemorrhage every time we attack. But once it gets back to my agent's turn, we're going to use the Improbability Field as a quick action. Then the Atom Smasher for a guaranteed win. Oftentimes I do find myself using this ability to finish Enchantress. I mean, don't get me wrong, Hank Pym could have easily finished it on his turn, but it just kind of shows you how these matches are going to be long, so just be prepared. Speaking of being prepared, this final team of ours has a lot of counterattacks, and they unfortunately have Combo Breaker, so this won't be quite as fun for us, but there's no way Iron Fist can combo break every single counter, so at least there's that. Also, we still do have the Skeptic, so that's going to stop Null's Meteor Swarm. But anyways, in case you haven't noticed, this is a final battle of insects. Wasp and Ant-Man versus a Big B. Let's see who ends up atop the anthill. My money's on me. If you want to get in on this, make sure you ante up. Alright, well, there's a combo breaker. But Ant-Man is going to get the counter with a break-in. I suppose because of Ant-Man's background, you could call him an anti-hero of sorts. Then with my agent, since it is a quick action, we'll use the Blackest Void, followed by the Oblivion. We gotta get those opportunist debuffs flowing. Fortunately, it does land on all the enemies. Now I do have to say, because of Fatal Fists, you do have to worry about using Ant-Man. That will knock him out and he won't get his redemption. So maybe it would be a good idea to use something like the T-Ball Glove and the Hugin's Eye on your agent. There's definitely more ways to set this team up than one, and that's typically the case, so just keep that in mind for this game. I mean, you can get plenty of opportunist debuffs just from the insect characters. You really don't need to use the Horseman set. But at this point, on our Wasp's turn, I think it's time to pull out a Fist Bump on Null. So let's really let him have it with our level 9. Hopefully this takes him close to being knocked out, and it sort of does. We'll take it, but you know Iron Fist is always a threat to heal his team. That's why sometimes you have to watch the turn order before you get someone to low health. And he's also a combo breaker threat, so he interrupts both Wasp and Ant-Man. Now just imagine if he wasn't on the enemy team. Our team up would be working much better, but they're still going to win this. At least I think they are. I guess if most people running this team would lose, i.e. the team would be losers, then we'd be the antonym. I got one more in there. You probably thought I was done, but we did it. Mission accomplished. And with that, we can get serious and finally take down this enemy team. So once again, we'll intimidate them. Then it's going to be Iron Fist's turn. And after his combo, he's going to combo breaker Ant-Man. Luckily, both hits heal. Then he also stops Wasp. But with her turn, we're going to use a Fist Bump on the enemy agent. This honestly gets her close to being knocked out. But unfortunately on her turn, she's going to use the Improbability Field as a quick action. And it does give her a heal. Then next she'll use the Fire Tornado, but luckily our agent is immune to Exhausted. And since Combo Breaker was used up, she's going to take quite a few counters. So 2 from Wasp and 1 from Ant-Man. She had a shield though, so she does live through these attacks as well. Then with my agent, I'm going to use the Improbability Field myself as a quick action. Then we'll go with the No Mercy. You know what, instead of finishing their agent, we're going to use it on Iron Fist. Hopefully this works out, but I'm thinking we can get him within Ant-Man's range of knocking him out. And then that way Wasp could take down the agent. It's basically addressing the enemies before their individual turns. And I think our best chances of taking down Iron Fist is a Pint-Size Surprise. Since this works out, we'll use a fist bump on the B. And that's going to be the end of this match and this video. So that's going to be day 1 of our Ant Week. Make sure you tune in every day for a new video. Thank you all for watching. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, good luck and take care.